Thank you very much for being here this morning at this regularly scheduled meeting on the 18th of May. For the record, Judge Luke is not with us today. He's in Austin. Am I correct, Jennifer?
Yes, around.
Around, okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
It is absent. Precinct 3 Commissioner David Lynch will chair the meeting. So we're going to start off with item number 2. Discuss and take possible action on approval of table number 10 for the period ending May 12, 2023.
I move we approve the representative.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner. Item number 3, discuss and take possible action on approval of personnel action forms.
The first one's Jessica Hernandez from Health Unit, resignation. The next one's Cassie Betcher. Increase with an approved slot. Dolly Friend, this is not a pay increase, but a change to the approved budget. Tax Office Laura Billings, this is a pay increase. Garrett Cleveland, pay increase. Jennifer Flowers, PDO, resignation. Anthony Welch, PDO, pay increase.
Move we approve personal action forms.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, discuss and take possible action on approval of line item transfers.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. We have one from Judge Cashion, County Court of Law, moving $10,000 out of indigent defense and into other services. PDO has taken over the indigent defense, so their site evals have gone up, and that's where we go into other services.
Move line item transfers.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, discuss and take possible action on approval of accounts payable.
We have a total amount of $414,590.08.
Okay. Can you remind me what, and it looks like it's in all the precincts, the first item, Dream Divine, enter,
That's Harrison's.
that's Harrison's.
Yeah, Harrison's.
Is now Dream Divine?
That's the LLC.
Okay. Thank you. I'll make a motion that we approve accounts payable, accepting the sheriff's forfeiture fund number 53 on page 12.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
I abstain.
Okay. None opposed, motion carries. Item number 6, discuss and take possible action on approval to apply for and submit the fiscal year 2023 Bulletproof Vest Program grant application online.
So this is a grant that we apply for on a yearly basis. We're applying for a total of 20 bulletproof vests. The cost should be around $20,700, and the grant would reimburse us $10,354.
Move we approve applying for the Woodland Vest program.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, discuss and take possible action on approval of disbursement of funds since the last Commissioners Court.
These are all for utilities and the amount of $5,915.26.
Move we approve disbursements of funds since last Commissioners Court. Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Any visitors signed up, Ms. Champion? Okay. So we will be adjourned for the meeting, and we'll be doing it again at 10 a.m. Lynch's turn to me. So we're going to continue on with item number 10, which is an update report on veteran services in Medina County. Mr. Gonzalez, Ruben, if you would.
Thank you, Commissioner,
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
being here.
Commissioners, thank you so much for the opportunity to be in front of you, and got two great things to be able to share with you. The first one is basically the handout that you should have in your packet, and this is our annual report that talks about how we did in 2022. And just so you know, Commissioner, this is something we do every May, April timeframe. The VA actually provides data for us to be able to convey back to our commissioners and let them know how well we're doing with bringing financial support or programs into the county within itself. So the spreadsheet or the sheet that you have in front of you gives you the total expenditures that we have from 2016 until 2022. So what I'm reporting is what happened last year. And it does take a little bit of time just because they gotta compile the data. The unique thing about this is when you look at the first column with total expenditures, you notice on there that usually the average somewhere between $4 to $7 million is what we actually bring in on there. Last year, it was just unbelievable. We were busy, but we didn't know that we were this busy. So if you notice in the first column, the change that we have was we brought in an additional $23 million into the county. And that is just, we never thought that would happen. You know, it's a great thing. And we know that we did a lot of things in our county, but we didn't expect the monetary to be that high. The second column, which is comp and pen, that is our bread and butter. That's where we usually spend maybe like 75%, 80% of our duties, our normal job. And you notice on there that we went up $14 million in that area. Where normally, if you look at some of the previous years, it's somewhere between almost $5 to $6 million increase. And last year we went up to $14 million in there. This is money that is going into to widows. This is money that is going to veterans based on service-connected disability or other benefits that ties into that. The next column is the education. This is basically us providing monetary assistance, or the VA providing monetary assistance for our veterans to attend school, whether it's a community college or full-blown college, online or in person. Even if they go to UTSA, but they live in here, that money is actually reflected in there. So you can see that we're bringing in about $3 million, or we brought in last year $3,536,000 in there. That's an increase of $515,000. So we went up on that. The next column in insurance, we went down. In some ways it's good because usually insurance is paid out based on deaths. If you remember last year when I came in here, I mentioned to you that we had a high percentage of veterans passing away in Medina. Nothing specific, it was just the generational, Korean, Vietnam War, and we're still having some of those happening right now. But you notice that it is a negative on that one, so it was less payout on that. And then on the medical care, this is us, in other words, VA putting money into the county through our doctors, through our clinics, through different medical facilities, suppliers also, like if we have local suppliers with oxygen and stuff like that, and the VA is paying them to provide a service to a veteran. So you notice on there on FY 2022, that's $29 million that we brought into the county and being able to support the financial. And that's a gain of $8,930,000 on there. So that's another huge increase in there. So a great year overall. It's actually worked out really good for us. I can't overemphasize our staff and how well they are, and that's the second thing that I wanted to mention to you that we're pretty excited about. Last week got notified that our third member in our facility, Mr. Gary Murphy, will be honored with an Excellence Award coming up this August in College Station by the Texas Veterans Commission. I also want to let you know that because of that, we will be the only county in the state of Texas that has been honored by the Texas Veterans Commission, all three members in there. have been recognized, and that doesn't happen that often, and it's not happening right now with the other counties. So I can't thank you enough for your support for our veteran services, both towards the commitment of the program, but also taking care of all of our residents and our veterans, our widows, our dependents. There's some children, and by the way, we do take care of helpless childs also. We have children that are not able to take care of themselves. They grow up, they're identified as a helpless child, and when dad passes away, and recently we had one in Castroville that passed away, the VA takes responsibility to provide some benefits to that helpless child. And we're involved in that process too, to make sure that things are arranged and taken care of for that veteran and the veteran's family. But I can't thank you enough. We are all smiling, we're all happy, we're very, very busy right now with the PACT Act and other things that the VA has opened up additional benefits for our veterans and their widows. But at the same time, we're very fortunate because we can't count our blessings based on your support and what you do for us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ruben. As always, a positive report, and we're just grateful to have you and everything you guys do for us in the county. We're very fortunate.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate it. Is there any other questions or anything, or have anything that you need from us? I will bring, later on in the year, after the presentation is done, and in August, I'll schedule with Jennifer, and I'll bring Mr. Gary Murphy to be in front of you and recognize him like we normally do with other members. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Appreciate it.
Just to let everybody know, and I'm gonna say this for every year I'm here. He was walking down the hall one day and I asked him if he needed something. He said, yeah, I was looking for a job. There he is. I think it was like the first or second week we were in our new building.
Time is everything.
I'm glad you're walking down the hall. I'm glad you came in and sat down and had a talk with us.
Appreciate it, Commissioner. Thank you for the opportunity. We're honored. Have a great day. Thank you.
Moving on to item number 11, public hearing to receive public comment regarding vacating flat lot 24 San Antonio Trust subdivision and establishing the Covarrubias subdivision. Let me preface this by saying that normally we would follow this item with an item where we would actually approve the plat. That got removed or not removed, but didn't get put on the agenda. So we're going to go ahead and do the public hearing for this. I value you guys' opinion, and this is a unique situation that I want you all's feedback on. It's in precinct 3 down there in that Natalia area, the San Antonio Trust subdivision. So is there anybody here, owner or anybody to speak on behalf of this? And see Mr. Covarrubias is here. So let me show you what we have. And we can discuss it in this public forum. That's what sure is. So if you look at the bottom, that's what he's proposing. On the left-hand side is County Road 570, just right here. So this one lot touches County Road 570. This is Farm Market 463, Textile Road right here, that they all front. So when they presented this to us originally, Jennifer let them know that we would have to have permission. They would have to have permission from TxDOT to make entry off of Farm Market 463. We need a letter stating that they approved that. Well, they didn't approve it. So,
They told me they weren't gonna approve.
okay, so it's not approved. We kind of anticipated that. So what he's proposing is on the left-hand side at the back of the lots, putting an easement in from County Road 570 to access all of the lots from that easement across the back. Our subdivision regulations don't talk about easements very much at all that I could find. So on the surface, you think, okay, there's nothing in our regs saying that they can't do this. If somebody wants to buy a lot that they can only access from an easement through everybody else's property, should we stop them from doing that?
We just did this on, 676.
Okay.
What was that one, Jennifer? Anyways, there's 4 or 5, I mean, they're bigger lots.
Yeah.
I mean, they have one, private easement going to the lot sector.
Okay.
I think it's 5 lots out of 40 acres.
Okay.
But they put gravel and
In this situation, there is no road. There's no road built, no road being proposed to be built. I don't know that the buyers of these lots will know that they can't put a driveway right off of 463. They may buy these anticipating that that's what they're gonna do. And now they're gonna have to be going through an easement through everybody's property. They may put a gate on every property line. There's nothing stopping that from happening, at least in this plat. There's no road built.
Well, what he needs to do is build a road, and that's not part of the property. This be an easement, and the property stops at the easement.
Okay. And who would maintain the road then?
They would-
With an HOA of some kind?
It want to be a private road.
Yeah.
Or who's keeping this up there?
Well, that one does, well, it also fronts 463, but I don't know if anybody's keeping it. That was just a bigger lot that they attached, that they're gonna sell.
If they're gonna do this, my suggestion only, get rid of that 60-foot easement going out there, because that's a flag lot anyhow.
Yeah.
That's a red flag. Put that easement in the back there. I'm trying to think on this thing. We have people doing this every day, sitting in here in court. I'm thinking if this was my property, this is a subdivision now, we're dividing lots. It's all gonna be under 2+ acres. Next thing is, do they have public water?
Yes.
Okay, they got public water, no clog or sewer. Put an easement in the back here, and on each easement, I know for a fact, I live on the easement, a 3-mile easement. And if I wanted to sell my daughter or somebody else a different house back there, I could do that. I don't see no difference than this here, having a 60-foot coming off of that county road you're talking about.
Okay.
That would make it all legal. Get rid of that 60-foot flag lot.
Right.
You could increase the size of these other lots
Right.
slightly. Now, I don't see an issue with it.
Okay. But they need to put the road in
They need to put a road
and
in,
establish some way to maintain the road.
Yeah.
or have it in the deed that each landowner contribute to the road. I don't know if that was going to be, might have to get into legal stuff on that one there. It'd be no difference than, getting restrictions on these lots.
Typically, there can be a roadway maintenance agreement
Between all lot owners, that's exactly what we need.
that's executed at the time of closing. In conjunction, you would have one document that's a deed, you have a separate document, typically that's a roadway maintenance agreement.
Exactly what they need.
So that they understand, that if they're purchasing, then, you know, what the rules are about the road, who contributes to the cost. Also in the deed language regarding the easement, you know, you're conveying, the individual lot, and then you are also, conveying the easement, which, I mean, the properties that the easement crosses, you do own the lot, but it is subject to the easement, and so it depends on the language, in the deed that conveys that interest, you know, or conveys the property subject to the easement, you know, whether it's how it's worded, you know, if it's free and uninterrupted use, then there can be, rules against, you know, putting up gates or otherwise obstructing, you know, if it's for free and uninterrupted use, then typically you run into problems with.
Yeah, that'd be across this road that we'd be putting in.
Right.
And the way our rules would read, if it's to be 25 acres, they can leave it gravel. If not, this is gonna have to be a paved road, 60-foot wide, whatever the length of it is to get to this property.
Typically, there are a lot of landowner
That makes sense.
disputes about easements and one owner's blocking it off and not wanting people to go through there or put a lock on it. I mean, you do get a lot of private civil disputes over it, but it's a matter of educating the buyer and making sure the legal language by a private real estate attorney that's assisting in the closings, making sure that that's drafted properly.
Well, with what I got proposing here, this road is gonna be uninterrupted. It's gonna be 6 feet, that's what it looks like here. They're not gonna each go all the way to the end, are they?
Well, the property did. The easement is just.
Okay, my thought is here, this is gonna be the road coming through here.
Correct.
Your property line then is gonna stop here.
Well, and it's
And it's not really an
This
easement.
is gonna be a private road.
Right, then that's not.
You wouldn't even have to do it even.
It's not an easement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you do away with
So
these.
who owns the private road then?
HOA, I don't know. Unless you want to maintain it, that's different, you want to maintain it, go ahead.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I won't.
Yeah.
So just want to clarify how we can tell Mr. Ruby's. I like Maggie's idea of having the property owner own it all the way to the north end or the upper edge and just having an easement to it and having language that identifies.
You're talking about from here to here.
Yeah, but having language that stipulates what can be done on that easement as far as obstructions and those kind of things and have that all in the deed restrictions when the purchasers buy it. My concern with people buying this, because Jennifer's already got people that are calling, wanting to buy these lots.
Right.
And I'm assuming they think, well, look, I'm front 463, I'll just go put a driveway out there on 463. And technically, that's not our issue, that's a TxDOT issue, but I want to work alongside and not allow something to be sold that people are misled completely about, so.
But typically, you know, when landowners try to do these types of things, typically they engage a surveyor and/or private real estate attorney that educates them on what the options are and that can properly present it to commissioners. You know, here, the landowners kind of left it to y'all to try to figure out. It's not really our job to legally advise the landowner. I think that they need to be figuring that out and presenting it to the commissioners for consideration of what the implications are of the way they're proposing to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like all the information may be being properly presented for y'all's consideration.
Well, I'm going to be calling this gentleman and telling him that as it stands right now, this is not going to pass through Commissioner's Court, and when the question is, why not? That's going to lead to the explanation of, well, this is what we don't like, and this is what you're going to have to do. So I don't want to give him legal advice either, but he needs to know, what do I need to do to get this done?
Yeah, he
So-
needs to.
Yeah, my thing is this, and I'm gonna let you make a call. If it was my precinct, I would stop here. If you go back to here, I can guarantee you the guy that owns this here, he can put a gate up here and here, so you don't have to put one there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I got a 3.5 mile heat, I gotta go through 2 electric gates and 3 sets of cattle doors to get to my property. And me and that landowner really don't see eye to eye some days that gate don't open, I just go through.
But now you're
And
going
then he's mad at me for a week or 2.
these folks are going to have 1,000 feet of road and 6 gates.
They're gonna have 1,000 feet of road, but their property will stop there, but they're gonna have road back here, and on the HOA agreement, everybody take care of the road.
Okay.
You make a call on that second.
They'd have to have something set up, or a road maintenance agreement, which is not necessarily an HOA, I guess, but some way that they can have some kind of assessment that
I
tells.
think they need to think through the issues a little more and, like I said, engage a private real estate attorney to walk them through this process and, you know, resolve some of these issues and better present it to commissioners for consideration. It's not y'all's job to have to figure it out legally for them.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I have a question, just a question. If you all did this, and not like Maggie's talking about, then that might leave the court liable for any of the decisions that you make regarding these things for the landowner. I would be concerned about that. The
I
liability.
don't know.
I don't think so. I mean,
It would not be,
I think what you're talking about is a private, you know, civil dispute between a purchaser and the seller. If, you know, if there were issues between, you know, adjoining landowners or between the seller and the buyer, you know, you would have that privity between buyer and seller. You know, I think there could be criticism of, well, maybe it should have been better thought out before we approved it or something, but no, I really don't see, you know, with governmental immunity, and we really would be privy to the private transaction.
well, I just was thinking about something that happened years ago. I don't remember how many years, Mr. Sittre probably remembers, but there was such criticism when property owners did not feel that they had been apprised of everything that they needed to know before they bought that lot and put a house on it.
Yeah, but
There was
again,
there was a subdivision out that way, north.
that's not necessarily our responsibility to apprise them
It's
of
the old
all
doctrine
those
of buyer beware, it's really the
Yeah.
buyer's responsibility to properly, evaluate what the purchase.
But what came out of that, if I remember correctly, gentlemen, was that, the landowner, the developer, had to make sure that people buying those properties knew all of that, and knew that there was a pit, and knew that, all of these things. I was just thinking in those regards.
Because that falls back on the southern, quarter.
And the next step on this thing, I have even talked to our engineers, and they're agreeing with me, we need to do the same type of thing in county roads. This thing could have been worked in, you could have had an entrance here, and an exit here, go up through here, come out here, but these people want to buy this land, they won't put nothing into it, other than give it to them. I guess you're all the bad guy, and say, hey, pass this commercial court. That's what they're trying to do. You could have come in here, came out here, but when I talked to TxDOT on 2 or 3 other deals, this is the biggest red flag they got. And I really think the county needs to adopt this and talk to our engineer how to get this in subdivision rules. This me looking at it, you could have went in here, went right down the center here, maybe lots of different, could have had one road up here, and you'd cut the whole thing with 2 entrances.
There's probably different ways.
In a 1,000 or 12 foot thing, but you'd have to put in a road.
Well, we're not going to approve or disapprove this because it's not an agenda item today, but I appreciate y'all's input, and Maggie, thank you.
Is this a
Yeah.
public hearing?
Yes, sure.
That's what you're here for.
The one issue is access onto the state highway. If they were to be required to put a vehicular non-access easement on the plat, everybody would be apprised of that restriction. And secondly, I don't know why they don't put the flagpole out to the county road rather than the state highway. That would eliminate any easements.
Yeah, but the state is set on 450 foot.
Okay.
They're very adamant about it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're gonna close the public hearing. Sorry, I never really opened it with a time, but we're gonna close it at 10:23. And move on to item number 12. Discuss and take possible action on preliminary approval of Encino Acre subdivision located precinct 1 at the intersection of FM 2676 and County Road 343.
Yeah, this is, one that, it was a big chunk of land and the family sold it. Lot 3 and has an existing house on it. And then, between 4 and 7 is an existing house on it. And they sold everything around it. 4 and 7 are gonna exit, 2676. They do have the permits from TxDOT on this. I'm just waiting for a letter from Pat, but everything else is gonna be pretty standard.
What is 343?
That is the first county roads here that heading back towards Cashville, off of 173.
Okay,
Right, Rumco is across the street from
okay.
Is there a water system out here?
there. Yes. I believe it's Yancy
Yancy.
Water, and I'm waiting on that too. But with that being said, I'm supposed to get the letters and everything. My biggest order was the TxDOT. Because at first, Lot 4 was gonna come right by the stop sign. I'm like, no, that's not happening. I was like, you're having people coming off of 2676, and you want to put a driveway right at that intersection. So we got that, like I said, we got the permits, and I'm waiting on a couple letters. So I will get preliminary approval on the Encino Acre subdivision.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Yes, I'd like to make a little bit more discussion while we're talking today. This, I think, I have had a lot of conversations with Jennifer on this. When these people get ready to bring the stuff to us, how can can we help you, Jennifer, to make sure everything is on here before we even bring it to commission court?
I have no idea.
You know, we're getting this up, and, the main thing, my mail on, order the mail on, we're gonna sanctify everything. We're not gonna set no more unless they're here the day we approve their plans. If not, if they're in precinct 2, they're gonna come back to the next commission court meeting. I got a full schedule, if you want to look at my calendar. For somebody, can you be there at 7:30 in the morning so you sign my piece of paper so I get it to Honolulu Monday? That's not gonna happen no more in the office. When y'all okay these things, then think about y'all here so I can pick on somebody. And these with you, and we'll sign them, and you take them with you, instead of hunting this down for the next 2 weeks. And the same thing on these plans, let's get everything on the plans before we bring it to commission report.
Give them a checklist.
They've been working on this stuff, but we're missing half the stuff on this here.
They have a checklist of some sort?
Yes, there is one in our rules.
Yep, you know, well, they're on the way, well, let's get them on the way. These people, the deal with people I'm dealing with, they sit on a piece of land for a year and a half, they bring it to commission court, and gotta have it next week.
I agree with you 100%.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, bring us a full set of plans with everybody checked off the list, text off, our Yancey Water, or whoever the water supplier is. In one case, we had to wait almost a year for electrical line to get okay to put on the thing. Let's get everything on our check off list. Jennifer got it, she'll put it on the agenda, and we'll move it. Does that make sense?
That's pretty simple.
They need to follow the checklist we got before we move on.
Exactly.
Anyone else?
I just got through talking, I'm through.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye, for what I said, or for what he said?
Whoever they said, like. Just a motion.
For what I talked about, or just talked about?
Okay, that motion carries. That was preliminary approval of Encino Acre subdivision. Item number 13, discuss and take possible action on approval of vacating and replat lots 4 and 5 of Villa de Oces subdivision, Unit 2, located precinct 2 off of private road 4662 and private road 4663.
Sugar, she has I didn't tell her to do that.
I hope everything's completed.
It is ready to go. Hello Commissioners, I'm Stephanie Prosser with Medina Valley Surveys. We saw this last Commissioners Court session, it was approved. After that took place, there was discussion between the two owners and we needed to push that line a little further into Lot 5 to accommodate a fence encroachment. So this is a slight revision on what we looked at 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we approved this 2 weeks ago, and then they came up, and they wanted to move the line a little bit more. We're not moving the total acreage whatsoever.
Correct.
It's just the divided line in between.
Yes, sir.
And both of them do still qualify for what the subdivision called for at the time of the subdivision. So I'll make that motion to approve it. We're just moving the divided line.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Item 14, discuss and take possible action on approval of interlocal cooperation contract number HHS REV 100002952 with Department of State Health Services and Texas Electronic Vital Events Registrar for the county clerk. Ms. Gina, do you want to speak on this?
Basically, all it is a renewal of a contract with the Department of Health and Human Services. We do it every 5 years, and it's just a renewal to do our first pages, death certificates, standard contract renewal.
No changes?
Not that, I'm really aware of. There's just a lot of legal jargon for me, so that's why I sent it up the chain. But it's something that we have to have done no matter what.
Make the motion, we approve the local contract.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Wow, it's a long contract. Okay, campus security by the sheriff's office. Do we have anybody from the sheriff's office here to speak on that?
I'll see everybody, but this contract, from what I read, follows what we have with Medina Valley and the other, and Lido. So Natalia would basically reimburse us for salary, overtime, benefits, and then also $150 per vehicle. So in this case, it would be two. Yeah, then they're requesting two.
Natalia would have them for 9 months, basically, we'd have them for 3.
For the other time, they would patrol.
And then we would
throughout
rotate
the
for
county.
9 months, which is what we're doing with the other school districts.
Right,
So when is this start? Next year?
August,
Okay, so we have to hire.
next fiscal year, so yes.
2 people for this.
And then on top of that, we're also working on cops, which I think the purpose of that grant would be to hire additional SROs. So I don't know how that would fit in with these interlocal agreements that we have with the districts, but, okay.
We'll
It's the
figure that out.
first time in 7 years that we've had every deputy slot filled. We'll do this. That'd be
I'm
cool.
that we approve the better local agreement with Steve for security for the sheriff's department.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 16, discuss and take possible action on approval of addendum to program-funded state and local task force agreement with the United States Department of Justice, Drug Enforcement Administration for the Sheriff's Office. Again, Edward, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I don't have this. I don't know anything.
I was anticipating over somebody being here.
I asked her to have somebody here.
Well, I'm not going to make a motion until there's somebody here.
You want me to text over real quick and see if he's,
If he's available and wants to come, we can hit it at the end.
okay, let me text him.
We'll table it for now and move on to item number 17, unless that's good for walking in the back door.
No, man.
Okay. Item number 17, discuss and take possible action on approval of first amendment to the fiscal year 22-23 interlocal agreement for the Hill Country Regional Public Defender's Office.
Yes, that's me. So this is an amendment to the current contract that we have with the other 4 counties, Bandera, Gillespie, Kendall, and Clerk County. So we're asking to change the way that we invoice the other 4 counties, or all 5 counties, for the 1/3 match portion of the grant. Currently what we're doing is we've used the case study projected case count times the entire budget amount of that 1/3, invoice them, they give us the money, and which creates excess funds in our books. What we're asking to do is treat it like every other grant, where we invoice them based on the actual case count times the actual expenses for that month, and that's all we invoice them for. We're not taking any excess funds, and at the end of the year, what they paid is exactly what we spent based on the cases for each county.
We don't have to return money to.
We don't have to return money, which is what we're dealing with for the last 2 years. We're still trying to figure all that out. But this is our recommendation, since we are the administrating county for the Hill Country Regional Public Defender's Office. This still would need to be approved by the board. The meeting was scheduled for last Friday. There was a couple of board members that weren't going to be present, so we've pushed it back. We're still waiting for that meeting to happen. So once y'all approve it, all the other commissioners' courts would also have to approve it, and then the board itself would have to agree to the terms.
Did y'all come up with this interlocal agreement, or did you have somebody look at it? Or?
We modified it. Maggie did take a look at it. She added some legal words in there, but the numbers, the financial aspect of it, we're the ones recommending it. I feel that it would avoid any of that reallocation and excess funds in our books.
So we're okay in here, so go ahead and get okay by the other.
By the board and the other 4 commissioners' courts, correct.
Motion to be approved.
I'll make a second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Just want to make sure that we have legal words in there.
Yes. Yes, Maggie did take a look at it, yes.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 18, discuss and take possible action on approval of the fiscal year 23-24 interlocal agreement with Bandera, Gillespie, Kendall, and Kirk County for the Hill Country Regional Public Defender's Office.
So this is basically the same thing, but it would just be along with the application for next fiscal year's application.
Okay.
grant.
So the person was finishing this year.
Yes, it was an amendment to the current contract. This is going to be the entire contract that goes along with the application for FY 23-24. Same verbiage.
I'll make the motion we do that.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 19, discuss and take possible action on appointment of Ken Nicewander to Emergency Service District Number 2. I think that we finally have the number 2 on there. We've taken a couple of stabs at this and have difficulty having number 2 on the agenda, so here it is.
I make the motion we appoint Ken Nicewander to emergency district number 2.
Second.
Motion is second. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 20, discuss and take possible action on declaring items from the following offices as surplus and or salvage and authorize disposal.
I'll say junk it.
Okay.
Second that.
Unless you don't go through this level.
No, I don't have to. Just want to make sure all the laptops, CPUs, we do remove the memory. We break those, make sure that anything in there is not
Or do you
usable.
use salvage?
Salvage.
No, the computers we do throw away, but that metal, I just want to make sure.
Good enough.
All right.
That's the motion I'll make.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 21, public hearing to receive comment on proposed order for the Commissioners Court to reduce speed limit on County Road 464 and County Road 561. So we'll open the public hearing at 10:37 on these two roads. Is there anybody in the public that wants to speak on this item? Okay, Larry, you
I'll
want to?
make a motion on 464, 35, and 30 on 561, which is Catalan Crossing.
Close the public hearing. I was gonna say, do we
Anybody else?
close it?
I haven't closed it yet, but that was just his discussion on it, sorry.
I'm confused.
Okay, let's close the public hearing at 10:38. I let Larry talk in his own public hearing. Now,
I'm ready to go.
Now I know.
Okay.
Now I know.
35 on 464 and 30 on 561.
I'll
okay,
second that.
35 and what?
30.
35 on the first one, 30 on the second.
When they want.
Any other discussion on that motion?
I got a whole lot of work. I can work with it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on item number 22. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Everybody up to speed on where we are? Item number 23 now. Discuss and take possible action on acceptance of newly assigned private road 4550 located in precinct 1 into the official mapping system.
4550. Make a motion we approve the newly signed private road 4550.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Who was the second?
And all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Gilbert's on his way.
Okay, well, let's go through and do a court member announcement. And then we'll see Gilbert's here.
Yesterday we paid another good stretch of road. I want to thank the other commissioners for sending trucks, did send trucks. We have 4 more miles we're going to do up north, that we're going to try to get paid with the butter, so everything's moving along.
Everything going good, precinct 2. Just thank God about the rain we got. It did slow us down a little bit. Some potholes popped up. Some drainage ditches need cutting out, but everything else is going very well.
Ditto that. Rain's great. Did slow down some of the work we're doing on a couple of roads in this area, but we're back at it, so.
Precinct 4, everything is good. We were blessed with a nice 3 inches of rain as well, so we'll have potholes and shredding. Back to get the shredder out of the shop.
Story of our life.
So, if y'all don't mind waiting 2 or 3 minutes, Gilbert's on the way. We'll revisit item number 16. We'll go to our workshop.
We'll do that here.
you got a camera right there.
Just want to talk about here.
Okay, we're gonna revisit item number 16. Discuss and take possible action on approval of addendum to program-funded state and local task force agreement with the United States Department of Justice, Drug Enforcement Admin for the Sheriff's Office. Just remind us what that is. Randy, we didn't have anything in front of us.
It's a reoccurring contract that we do yearly, and it's basically the reimbursement of monies for one that I have assigned with EPA.
That's right, that's right. Okay, sorry to pull you off of important sheriff work that.
Right.
Come
So
remind
the
us what that was.
Yeah, we have a copy of it. I just read 30 special agents, but so I said, I don't know if we're gonna have 30 vehicles for all of them.
Oh, no, we have one person there, and that's who all they include in their joint task force.
This is a member of your staff that works with the federal groups that.
Has been for numerous years.
Okay.
We know what it is now.
Okay.
Now that you say
Makes
like
sense.
that,
Yes,
that makes
we
sense.
all
Yeah.
trained.
All right, I move we approve it.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all very much for coming and doing that.
Well, nice to see you again.
Yep.
Do we have one more that I missed?
No?
No, just scratch it?
And Barney took care of that
Oh, the SROs?
one. Yeah.
You
Oh,
want
good.
That one is approved.
We knew that one
I
was.
like it.
to talk to me now, or you want to call me, hold me, call you?
I called him, I'll pass it.
Okay, good enough. We got a appreciate meeting here.
Just apologize.
Got it.
They